Welcome to the Social Bee podcast with your host, Louise Brogan. Every week, Louise will be bringing you a podcast all about women entrepreneurs, talking about their challenges, their goals, and inspiring you to either start your own business or grow the business you have. Visit www.socialbeeni.com to join our community and pick up some lovely freebies to start marketing your business online today.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Social Bee podcast. Recently, I was invited to speak at Alex Curtis's Financial Services Marketing Conference in Peterborough. And you may have heard me talking about this a little bit on the podcast. And while I was there, I had the absolute delight and pleasure of speaking alongside May King Tsang, who is the original and the best FOMO creator in the British Isles. So not too much of a lead in there, May King. I'd like to welcome the podcast. If you want to take a moment and introduce yourself and tell everybody what it is that you do and what exactly is a FOMO creator.
Well, thank you so much for the introduction, Louise. As you quite rightly said, my name is May King Tsang. My first name is May King, and I am a FOMO creator. FOMO means the fear of missing out. And what I do is basically recreate the excitement of an event, a festival, a conference, a summit, and put it out onto social media through LinkedIn, through Twitter, through Instagram, through Facebook. And the whole idea is that people get so excited about the events on social media. For those people who are sitting on the fence with regards to that event, because they see the excitement, because they see the value that people are receiving, then hopefully it means that they will book on to the next event. That's the whole idea.
Excellent. Well, let's take Alex's event as one to look at. In terms of your actual body of work, it actually starts way before the day then, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, I think that for a lot of people who attend an event, they're there to listen to speakers, they're there to learn, they're there to network. Completely understand that. However, on social media, you've got the opportunity to put your name and your brand and your business out there as well. So there is absolutely the opportunity for people to create pre-FOMO for themselves in the lead up to an event.
Yeah.
So, for example, going back to Alex's event, he's got this wonderful dedicated Facebook group. And what I did was I asked Alex, let's jump on a call, let's do a quick video, and essentially create pre-FOMO. So to tell people who were sitting on the fence of the event, about what they're going to expect. So I did a quick interview with him. We talked about, where people could park in the lead up to the event, a bit of detail about the event, the venue itself. We talked a little bit about the speakers and that kind of stuff. And hopefully people who are watching may think, oh, okay, well, I might book on, or I might not, because they may still be sitting on the fence. Yeah. So there's lots of things that you can definitely create in the lead up. Not just talk about the speakers, but also about the little, additional bits that that you can have in the event. So the thing that actually caused a lot of excitement on the day is the little table of sweet treats.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
The pick and mix. I mean, it just took us all back to our childhood, but, and it was exciting. Now, what has that got to do with a venue? Well, wouldn't you want to go to an event that has a lot of excitement, a lot of fun? And so, what Alex and Andrea did were absolutely amazing by, creating a little pick and mix so people can take those little treats home to their families and stuff, is what makes the conference memorable. So those are the kind of things that you can actually talk about in the lead up to an event.
May King, before you became a FOMO creator, take us back a little while and tell me, what did you start out like when you were before you were a former creator, whenever you were, did you have a job? Did you go into create your own business? Where did this all come from? Tell us a little bit of your background.
So I actually graduated in social science, of all things, and after a couple of years of working as a waitress and then at Asda as a checkout girl and catering manager, I eventually found a little ad in the newspaper. So this was before the days of social media. I was looking every day in the local Manchester Evening News, Bolton Evening News, local newspapers to see if there was a job for graduates, and I eventually got it into IT, of all places. So I had a career in IT for about 10 years, and then it was a friend of mine who asked me to go into business with him, and he wanted to open a coffee shop, of all places. And when I did research, I realised I don't know anything about coffee, but I know something about tea. And so I actually started a tea business. And so my name on all the socials is actually May King Tea.
Yes.
And I was an early adopter of social media. So I was on Google+, and I was doing YouTube and Twitter. They were my three favourite platforms. And very quickly, I had people, tea companies, coming to me and saying, "Oh, can you do this for our company as well?" And so there was a bit of social media consultancy that I did for a lot of tea companies and other small businesses as well. But whenever I went to an event, because I was an early adopter of social media and I knew about the importance of branding, I would actually do interviews with people and I would live tweet. And even though I'm in the space of tea, I know that my followers like good food, good wine, good whiskey, and I would tweet about those things whenever I went to a festival. So whenever I spoke at a festival or an event, I would talk around the subjects and also, talk to attendees. And so I was a professional live tweeter for many years. And the first time I decided to pitch to somebody was actually at Andrew and Pete. And in March this year, I pitched to them and said, "Would you like a professional live tweeter for your conference?" And they said, "No." And I was like, "Oh, okay." They said, "But can you do Facebook and Instagram too?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Bearing in mind, I just faffed my way around Instagram, didn't really know what I was doing. I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. I can totally do that." I had to Google Instagram a bit more. And that was it, really. So I, in the previous sort of 6 years of being in business, for myself under May King Tea, with the interviews that I did, the live tweeting, I did a bit of research on how to get the best out of Instagram, and ended up doing some interviews and doing my thing on Instagram and Facebook on behalf of Andrew and Pete. They loved it, and actually it was Andrew who came up with the name FOMO Creator, and I loved it, and the rest, they say, is history.
I love that. Such a brilliant story. And really, for anyone who's listening, because a lot of my listeners would be people who are just starting out in business, or maybe they're wanting to start a business and they're not sure what way to go. I mean, yours is the perfect story of pivot, and opportunity. And even to the point where Andrew and Pete said to you, "Can you do this?" And you were like, "Yep, I can do that." I mean, I love that, because you think everything is figure outable, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And, for anyone who is, any of your listeners who are thinking of starting a business or just at the start, it's an incredibly exciting time to be a business owner. It's almost the new rock and roll, really. But I think that you need to do things really well in order to get on. And so I'll be the first to admit, the first 6 years of being in business, I just kind of faffed around, really. Yeah. Didn't really have a plan, didn't have a strategy or anything like that. And, but one thing that I did do well was branding. And that was the thing that got me to some incredible places, got some incredible contracts with people. And that's the first thing that I would really concentrate a lot on. And when you go to events, can create FOMO for yourself, And in creating FOMO for yourself, what you're doing is putting your personal branding out onto social media. So rather than, telling the world what you do, these are my services, these are my discounts, because we don't like to be sold to. Mm-hmm. What you're telling the world when you go to events and you're documenting about the speakers or the attendees or the people that you've spoken to, sponsors and so on, you're creating publicity for yourself, but you're not actually talking about yourself. But it's creating a great personal brand for yourself. And also, you are associating your brand with the incredible brand of the event that you're going to, which is really, really important.
Yes, I think that's really powerful and so true. And for you to have started, so for people who maybe don't know who Andrew and Pete are, Andrew and Pete, they've been keynote speakers at Social Media Marketing World. They ran their first conference in the UK here and called it Atomicon. They have a membership called Atomic. I went to Atomicon and it was brilliant. And I'm going back in the spring of 2020. So they are, some people say they are like a little bit like Marmite. But there's no doubt in my mind they really know what they're doing and they really give good advice. Maybe people don't necessarily like their delivery, although I have to say I have never laughed as much at a talk as their closing keynote at their conference than any other event I've been to. I thought they just blew it out of the water. But for you to start this whole FOMO business at their event, I mean, that's a pretty good feather in your cap.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, like I say, I did really brave the waters by pitching to them. That's something that I'd never done in my business before. Yeah. And if you're going to pitch to someone, you may as well pitch to one of the best.
Yeah, exactly. Love it.
So, yeah, I mean, I was absolutely stoked when they actually heard of me and they'd seen what I'd done. So it was really, really incredible. But like I say, for any business owner who attends events, they can also create publicity for themselves by, tweeting a lot, Instagramming a lot, Facebooking a lot, and being that, social media reporter really, and documenting what it is they've done. And that really helps people to connect with you as a person, because as you know, people buy from people, and people aren't going to buy from you if all you do is sell online. And you still see a lot of that out there, especially on LinkedIn, right, Louise? You still see a lot of people just selling their services or writing a direct message to you, trying to pitch to you. And, I don't even know who you are. You've called me May, so that's going to get you into the back books already, and all sorts of things. But if you work really hard in your branding, get people to know you, get people to, for you to showcase who you are, what you do, and just share lots of great information, then that's the initial first few steps of helping your business to go in the right direction.
Yes, so I have two things to say about that. First thing is you reminded me of a friend of mine who was at a conference and tweeted at the conference so much that the organizer noticed her tweeting and gave her a job.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. And then the second thing is in terms of, so this morning I had a meeting with somebody who is interested in us collaborating together. And it's because he saw all of the posts that I'm doing on LinkedIn. And if you look at my LinkedIn profile, I don't sell. I mean, I've just launched my next LinkedIn breakfast in Belfast. So yes, I have put that up and said the breakfast is out. But I would say 95% of my posts on LinkedIn are, because I don't want to say 9 out of 10, because it's more than 9 out of 10, are adding value to people rather than selling anything that I'm doing. But because I do that, people then send me a message and say, could we have a phone call to talk about working together? And that's the thing that people are just, a lot of people have missed out on how they're using LinkedIn because they're not appreciating that. And I, like you, May King, I am getting messages from people saying, they've just connected with you, and then immediately they're trying to sell you something in the private messages, and that just turns me right off.
You know, and we can't blame them really. I mean, if you think about business,